My husband asked how could I have HIV. Then I showed him my negative test. The envelope shook in my hands as I stood in our bedroom doorway, watching my husband of 6 years pack his suitcase with jerky, angry movements. Charles didn't even look at me when he spoke. "I can't believe you did this to us, Kimmie. To our marriage, to me." My throat tightened. 3 days ago, I'd been planning our anniversary trip to the Bahamas. Now I was standing here, holding test results that would either save my marriage or destroy it completely. The irony was, I already knew which one it would be. "Charles," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I have the results." He finally stopped packing and turned to face me, his jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle twitching. His eyes, the same warm brown eyes I'd fallen in love with 7 years ago, now looked at me with pure disgust. "And?" he demanded. I pulled the paper from the envelope with trembling fingers and held it up. "I'm negative. Completely negative for everything." The color drained from his face like someone had pulled a plug. He stood there frozen, a dress shirt hanging limply from his hand, his mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. That's impossible," he finally managed. "No, Charles, it's not impossible. It's the truth." I walked closer, holding the paper out to him. "The only impossible thing here is your story about how you got HIV. Because it sure as hell didn't come from me." Before we dive into this powerful story, make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a story like this, and drop a comment below, letting us know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began, because trust me, this story gets worse before it gets better. And if you want to see how I handled what came next, make sure you watch until the end. You won't believe what I discovered. I came home from work that Tuesday evening expecting a normal night. Maybe we'd order Thai food, watch our show, argue playfully about whose turn it was to do the dishes. Instead, I walked into a war zone. Charles was sitting on our bed, his laptop open in front of him, papers scattered everywhere. He looked up when I entered, and I immediately knew something was catastrophically wrong. His face was red and blotchy, like he'd been crying. My stomach dropped. "Baby, what's wrong?" I dropped my purse and rushed to his side. "Did something happen to your mom? Your brother?" He jerked away from my touch like I'd burned him. "Don't touch me." I froze. "What?" I said, "Don't touch me, Kimmie." He stood up abruptly, putting distance between us. "How long has it been going on?" "How long has what been going on?" "Charles, you're scaring me." He laughed, but it was a harsh, bitter sound I'd never heard from him before. "I'm scaring you? That's rich. Really rich, coming from someone who's been lying to me for God knows how long." "I have no idea what you're talking about." He grabbed a piece of paper from the bed and thrust it at me. "Explain this then." My hands shook as I took it. It was a medical test result. HIV positive. The name at the top read Charles Davidson, my husband's name. The room tilted. I had to sit down before my legs gave out completely. "You have HIV?" I whispered. "We have HIV, Kimmie." "We, because you gave it to me." My head snapped up. "What?" "Charles, I didn't. Don't you dare lie to me." He was shouting now, his voice echoing off our bedroom walls. "The doctor said this doesn't just appear. Someone had to give it to me. And since I've been faithful to you every single day of our marriage, that only leaves one possibility." I felt like I was underwater, like his words were reaching me through layers of thick, suffocating pressure. "Charles, I haven't cheated on you. I would never." "Then how do you explain this?" He gestured wildly at the paper in my hand. "I got tested, because I had these weird symptoms. Fatigue, night sweats, swollen lymph nodes. The doctor said I should get a full STD panel just to rule things out. And look what came back." Tears streamed down my face. "When did you get tested?" "Last week. Then I got retested yesterday to make sure. Both positive, Kimmie, both times." He ran his hands through his hair, making it stand up in wild tufts. "I trusted you completely, never once questioned where you were or what you were doing. And this is how you repay that trust? I swear to you, Charles, I have not been with anyone else, not once. Not ever." I stood up, trying to approach him, but he backed away. "If you have HIV, I need to get tested too, but I'm telling you right now, it didn't come from me. The test doesn't lie, Kimmie. Then there's been a mistake. Or, the thought hit me like a freight train, but I couldn't bring myself to say it out loud. Not yet. Or what? I swallowed hard. Or, you're lying. His face went from red to dawn, purple. I'm lying? Are you serious right now? I'm the one with the positive test results, and you're accusing me of lying? I'm just saying, if I haven't cheated, and you have HIV, then get out. His voice was suddenly quiet, which was somehow more terrifying than the shouting. Get tested. And when your results come back positive, you better have the truth ready. Because I'm not listening to any more lies. He grabbed his keys and wallet from the dresser. I'm staying at Daniel's place. When I come back, you better be ready to tell me who he is. The door slammed behind him, and I collapsed onto the bed, my whole body shaking with sobs that felt like they were tearing me apart from the inside. I called my best friend Jessica within minutes of Charles leaving. She answered on the second ring. Kimmie, what's wrong? Between sobs, I explained everything. The diagnosis, the accusation, Charles leaving. That son of a, Jessica's voice was tight with fury. Kimmie, listen to me. Very carefully. You need to get tested right now, today, this minute. It's almost 6, most clinics are closed. Then go to urgent care, go to the ER if you have to. But you need to get tested immediately. She was right. I wiped my face, grabbed my keys, and drove to the urgent care center 3 blocks from our house. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely fill out the intake forms. The nurse who called me back was a kind-faced woman in her 50s. She listened to my story without judgment, then ordered the full panel of tests. How long until I get results? I asked. The rapid HIV test will take about 20 minutes. The full panel will take a few days, but we'll rush it given your circumstances. Those 20 minutes felt like 20 hours. I sat in the examination room, staring at the anatomical posters on the wall, my mind spinning through every possibility. What if I did have it? What if there had been some freak accident, some contaminated needle at a dentist? Appointment? Something I couldn't remember or explain? But deep down, beneath the fear and panic, a tiny voice whispered the truth I didn't want to acknowledge. If Charles had HIV and I didn't, there was only one explanation. The nurse came back with a tablet. She sat down next to me and smiled gently. Kimmie, your rapid test came back negative. I burst into tears, but this time they were tears of relief, mixed with a rage so powerful it made my chest tight. Are you sure? I asked through my tears. Completely sure. We'll wait for the full panel results to be absolutely certain, but the rapid test is very accurate. You don't have HIV. I thanked her and walked out to my car in a daze. I sat in the parking lot for a long time, watching the sun set behind the buildings, trying to process what this meant. Charles had lied to me. He'd cheated on me, contracted HIV from whoever he was sleeping with, and then he'd tried to blame me for it. He'd accused me of destroying our marriage when he was the one who destroyed it. The rage that had been simmering inside me erupted into a full boil. I grabbed my phone and called him. He answered after 3 rings. Did you get tested? I did. And? I could hear the fear in his voice, the hope that I'd be positive too, that his story would hold up. I'm negative, Charles. Completely negative. Silence. Long, heavy silence. They must have made a mistake. No mistake. I took a rapid test, and I'm waiting on the full panel, but the rapid test is accurate. I don't have. Kimmie, I don't understand. Yes, you do. You understand perfectly. My voice was eerily calm now, all the crying done, replaced by cold fury. You cheated on me. You contracted HIV from whoever you were sleeping with. And instead of being honest with me, you tried to destroy my reputation to save your own ass. It's not like that. Don't you dare lie to me anymore. I want you to think very carefully about your next words, Charles, because whatever you say right now will determine whether I drag you through the mud publicly or handle this quietly. I could hear him breathing heavily on the other end of the line. I'll be home in an hour, I said. You better be there, and you better be ready to tell me the truth. I hung up before he could respond. If you're wondering what I did next, Stick around because this story takes some turns you won't see coming, and if you're going through something similar, drop a comment below. You're not alone. When I pulled into our driveway an hour later, Charles's car was already there. I sat in my car for a moment, preparing myself for whatever was about to happen. Then I walked inside. He was sitting on the couch, his head in his hands. He looked up when I entered, and I could see he'd been crying. Good. Kimmie, who is she? I interrupted. His mouth opened and closed. What? Who is she? I enunciated each word carefully. The woman you've been sleeping with. What's her name? It's not what you think. I'm not interested in what you think I think. I want facts. Her name. Now. He looked down at his hands. Stephanie. The name hit me like a slap. Stephanie? Your coworker Stephanie? The one you said was just a friend? The one you've been having lunch with for the past year? He nodded miserably. How long? 8 months. 8 months. While I was planning our anniversary trip, researching romantic restaurants, buying him thoughtful gifts, he'd been sleeping with Stephanie for 8 months. When did you find out she was positive? I asked, my voice deadly calm. 3 weeks ago. She called me crying, said she'd just gotten her diagnosis. She told me I needed to get tested. And instead of immediately telling me so I could protect myself, you got tested first, and when you came back positive, you decided to blame me. I panicked. He stood up, his voice rising. I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe if you just accused me of cheating, everyone would believe you instead of finding out the truth. I finished his sentence. You were willing to destroy my reputation, make everyone think I was unfaithful, make me feel like I was losing my mind, all to protect yourself? I'm sorry. He was crying openly now. I'm so sorry, Kimmie. It was a moment of panic. I wasn't thinking clearly. I love you. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. If you loved me, you wouldn't have cheated. If you loved me, you wouldn't have exposed me to a potentially life-threatening disease without telling me. If you loved me, you wouldn't have tried to make me believe I was the villain in this story. We can work through this. We can go to counseling. No. The word came out firm and final. We can't work through this. We're done. His face crumpled. Kimmie, please. 6 years of marriage has to mean something. It did mean something. It meant I was faithful, honest, and committed. Apparently, it meant nothing to you. I walked toward the bedroom, then turned back. I want you out of this house by tomorrow. Pack your things and leave. You can't just kick me out. This is my house too. Actually, I can. This house was left to me by my aunt in her will. Your name isn't on the deed. You have no legal claim to it. So, you can pack your things nicely, or I can have the locks changed and put your stuff on the lawn. Your choice. I could see the moment he realized I was serious. The moment he understood that there would be no talking his way out of this, no manipulating me into forgiveness. I'll pack tonight, he said quietly. Good. I'll be staying at Jessica's. I want you gone by the time I come back tomorrow afternoon. I grabbed an overnight bag and threw some clothes in it. As I headed for the door, Charles called out to me one more time. Kimmie, I really am sorry. I stopped but didn't turn around. Sorry doesn't fix this, Charles. Sorry doesn't take back 8 months of lying. Sorry doesn't erase the fact that you tried to destroy me to save yourself. Sorry means nothing when it comes too late. I walked out and drove to Jessica's apartment. She had wine and ice cream waiting, along with a box of tissues and a fury in her eyes that matched my own. I'm going to key his car, she announced as soon as I walked in. Despite everything, I smiled. No, you're not. Why not? He deserves it. Because I'm going to do something much better. I'm going to live well. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to show him that his betrayal didn't break me. Jessica raised her wine glass. To living well is the best revenge. I clinked my glass against hers. To living well. The next few days were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and increasingly desperate phone calls from Charles that I didn't answer. I let everything go through my attorney, a sharp woman named Rita, who took one look at my situation and said, "We're going to destroy him legally. Buckle up." She wasn't kidding. Within a week, Charles had been served with divorce papers. Rita made it clear that I wanted nothing from him except my freedom. The house was mine, my car was mine, my retirement account was mine. I didn't want his money or his excuses. What I didn't expect was for the story to get out. I don't know who told who, but within 2 weeks, people knew. Charles's family knew. Our mutual friends knew. His co-workers knew. And the court of public opinion was not kind to him. His mother called me crying, apologizing for her son's behavior. His brother texted to say he was ashamed to be related to him. Former friends posted on social media about loyalty and trust, though they didn't name names. Everyone knew who they were talking about. Charles tried to control the narrative at first, claiming we'd grown apart, that it was mutual, but too many people knew the truth. Stephanie had apparently told several co-workers what happened, and word spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, I focused on myself. I threw myself into work, earning a promotion I'd been working toward for 2 years. I started painting again, something I'd given up when Charles complained it took too much of my time. I reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with. Jessica convinced me to take a solo trip to California, something I'd always wanted to do but Charles had always vetoed because he didn't like traveling. You don't need his permission anymore, Jessica reminded me. You don't need anyone's permission. Go. Live. Be free. So I went. I spent a week in San Diego, walking on beaches, visiting art museums, eating at restaurants I chose, doing exactly what I wanted when I wanted. It was glorious. The full STD panel results came back while I was on that trip. Negative for everything. I had dodged a bullet in the most literal sense possible. When I returned home, divorce proceedings were moving forward smoothly. Charles wasn't fighting me on anything. I think he knew he had no leg to stand on. But the universe wasn't done with plot twists yet. 3 months after I'd kicked Charles out, I got a message on Facebook from a woman I didn't know. Her name was Lauren. I'm sorry to bother you, the message read, but I think we need to talk. It's about Charles. My stomach dropped. I called Jessica immediately. Should I respond? I asked. I don't know. Could be drama. Could be important. What's your gut say? My gut said I needed to know. So, I responded. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop the next day. I brought Jessica with me for moral support, though she sat at a different table to give us privacy. Lauren was younger than me, maybe 25, with blonde hair and tired eyes. She sat down across from me and immediately started crying. I'm so sorry, she said. I didn't know he was married, not at first. My blood ran cold. What? Charles and I were together for almost a year. He told me he was divorced. I only found out the truth 6 months ago when I saw a wedding photo on his Facebook that he forgot to make private. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. A year? You were with him for a year? She nodded miserably. When I confronted him, he said you two were separated, that the divorce was almost final. He was so convincing. I believed him. And Stephanie? I asked, already knowing the answer would make this worse. Lauren looked confused. Who's Stephanie? His co-worker. The one he gave HIV. Her face went white. Oh my God, he's been with her too? We stared at each other. 2 women who'd been lied to by the same man, and something passed between us. Not friendship exactly, but understanding. We were both victims of Charles's selfishness. I got tested when I heard about the HIV thing, Lauren said quietly. I'm negative too. Thank God. Why are you telling me this? I asked, not unkindly. Because I saw that you divorced him. And I wanted you to know that you made the right choice. He's not who he pretends to be. He's a liar and a manipulator, and you deserve to know the barred, full truth. She pulled out her phone and showed me text messages between her and Charles. Messages going back over a year. Promises he'd made to her. Lies about me, about his life, about his intentions. Can I have screenshots of these? I asked. I already printed them out for you. She handed me a folder. In case you need them for the divorce. After Lauren left, Jessica came over to my table. What was that about? I told her everything, showed her the folder. Jessica's face went through several emotions before settling on pure rage. I'm keying his car now. You can't stop me. Jess, I'm serious, Kimmie. This man is trash, absolute garbage. He doesn't deserve your mercy. I don't want revenge, I said, surprising myself with how true it was. I just want him out of my life completely. The best revenge is moving on and being happy. And that's exactly what I did. The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday. I woke up that morning feeling lighter than I had in years. I wasn't married to Charles anymore. I was free. I celebrated by doing something I'd been thinking about for months. I enrolled in art classes at the community college. Real classes with real teachers who could help me improve. My instructor, David, was in his 60s and had been painting for 40 years. He looked at my portfolio during the first class and said, "You have real talent. Why haven't you pursued this seriously?" "Life got in the way," I said. "Well, life's giving you a second chance. Don't waste it." I didn't. I threw myself into painting with a passion I'd forgotten I had. Every free moment was spent with a brush in my hand, creating pieces that expressed everything I'd been through. The betrayal, the healing, the growth. David encouraged me to enter a local art competition. I submitted 3 pieces, not expecting anything. So, when I got the call that I'd won second place, I actually screamed. The prize included a small cash award and a feature in the local arts magazine. My painting, a vibrant, abstract piece I'd titled Phoenix, was published with a short interview about my inspiration. I didn't mention Charles by name, but I talked about transformation, about rising from the ashes of betrayal, about discovering who you are when you're no longer defined by someone else. The article went semi-viral in our local area. People reached out to tell me my story inspired them. Women who'd been through similar situations thanked me for being open about my experience. And then, something unexpected happened. A local gallery owner saw the article and called me. "I'd love to feature your work," she said. "We have a showing for emerging artists next month. Are you interested?" Was I interested? I was terrified and thrilled in equal measure. "Yes," I said, "absolutely yes." The next month was a whirlwind of preparing pieces, framing them, writing descriptions. Jessica helped me pick out an outfit for the opening, a stunning red dress that made me feel powerful and beautiful. The night of the showing, I stood in the gallery, surrounded by my paintings, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Pride. Pure, uncomplicated pride in something I'd created. My parents came, tears in their eyes. Jessica brought 6 friends. Even my boss showed up to support me. And in a moment that felt like poetic justice, 3 of my paintings sold that night. I was standing in front of my favorite piece, one that showed a woman breaking free from chains when someone tapped my shoulder. I turned to find a tall man with kind eyes and an easy smile. "Your work is incredible," he said. "The emotion in it is so raw and honest." "Thank you," I said, suddenly shy. "I'm Anthony." He held out his hand. "I teach art history at the university." We talked for over an hour about art, inspiration, and creativity. When the gallery was closing, he asked if I'd like to get coffee sometime. I hesitated. It had only been 6 months since my divorce. Was I ready? But then, I remembered what Jessica had told me. You don't have to be perfect to move forward. You just have to take the next step. "I'd like that," I told Anthony. Our coffee date turned into dinner. Dinner turned into a second date, then a third. Anthony was everything Charles wasn't. Honest, supportive, genuinely interested in my dreams and goals. He came to my next art showing and brought flowers. He listened when I talked about difficult days. He celebrated my victories without trying to make them about him. We took things slowly. I was honest with him about what I'd been through, and he was patient with my healing process. "I'm not Charles," he told me one night when I apologized for being guarded. "You don't have to apologize for protecting yourself. I'll earn your trust, however long that takes." And slowly, carefully, I let him. I ran into Charles at the grocery store on a random Saturday. I'd successfully avoided him for an entire year, but there he was in the produce section, looking at avocados. He saw me at the same moment I saw me. For a second, we both froze. He looked different. Thinner, older, tired. There was no one with him. "Kimmie," he said, stepping toward me. "Charles." I kept my voice neutral. You look great. Really great. Thank you." An awkward silence stretched between us. "I heard about your art shows," he said. I'm happy for you. You always were talented. I appreciate that. I also heard you're seeing someone, that professor guy. I wasn't sure how he knew that, but I nodded. I am. He looked down at his shoes, the same gesture he used to make when he was ashamed. I wanted to apologize again. For everything. I handled things horribly, and you deserved so much better. Yes, I did, I agreed calmly. But that's in the past now. Are you happy? He asked, looking up at me. I thought about my life now. My art, my career, Anthony, my friends, my freedom to be exactly who I wanted to be. Yes, I said honestly. It's happy. Something flickered across his face. Regret, loss, acceptance, maybe all three. Good, he said quietly. That's good. You deserve to be happy. We stood there for another moment, two people who used to share everything, now strangers, with a painful history between us. I should go, I said finally. Take care of yourself, Charles. You too, Kimmie. I walked away with my head held high, and I didn't look back. Later that night, Anthony and I were cooking dinner together in my kitchen in my house that was entirely mine, and I told him about running into Charles. How do you feel? He asked, always so perceptive. Nothing, I said, realizing it was true. I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no regret. He's just someone I used to know. Anthony pulled me into a hug. That's growth, Kimmie. That's healing. He was right. I'd spent so much time being angry, being hurt, being defined by what Charles had done to me. But somewhere along the way, I'd let it go. Not because he deserved forgiveness, but because I deserved peace. It's been 2 years since Charles accused me of giving him HIV. 2 years since my whole world fell apart, and I had to rebuild it from scratch. And I did rebuild it. Into something better, stronger, more authentically mine than anything I had before. I'm still painting, still showing my work in galleries. I've even sold enough pieces that I'm considering whether art could become more than just a side passion. My relationship with Anthony is strong and healthy. We communicate openly, trust each other completely, and support each other's dreams. He's nothing like Charles, and I'm grateful for that every single day. I've reconnected with parts of myself I'd lost in my marriage. The adventurous part that loves to travel alone. The creative part that needs time to make art. The independent part that doesn't need anyone's permission to live life on my own terms. Sometimes people ask me if I regret marrying Charles, if I wish I'd seen the signs earlier, if I'm bitter about the time I lost. The answer is no. Because that experience, as painful as it was, taught me who I am. It taught me what I will and won't accept. It taught me that I'm strong enough to walk away from someone who doesn't respect me, even when it's terrifying. Charles's betrayal didn't break me. It freed me. And that negative HIV test, it wasn't just proof that I was disease-free. It was proof that I'd been telling the truth all along. It was validation, vindication, and the beginning of my liberation. I don't know where Charles is now or what he's doing. I don't check his social media. I don't ask mutual friends about him. He's a closed chapter in my life, and I have no desire to reopen it. What I do know is this. I'm happy. Genuinely, deeply, completely happy. Not because of a man or a relationship or external validation, but because I've built a life that belongs entirely to me. I wake up every morning excited about the day ahead. I go to bed every night grateful for what I have. I create art that comes from my soul. I love someone who loves me back with honesty and respect. I have friends who would go to war for me. I have a career I'm proud of. Charles tried to make me the villain in his story. Instead, I became the hero in my own. And if you're going through something similar, if someone has betrayed you and tried to make you the bad guy, I want you to know this. You will survive it. You will rebuild. And one day, you'll look back and realize that their betrayal was actually the best thing that ever happened to you, because it forced you to choose yourself. Choose yourself. Always choose yourself. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Share your own story if you feel comfortable. This community is here to support each other. And remember, a negative test result isn't just about disease. Sometimes it's proof that you were right all along. proof that you deserve better and proof that your best life is still ahead of you. Thanks for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.